A teenager was buried in a makeshift grave after allegedly being murdered by his pals, a court has heard. Kieran Williams' decomposing body was found in a 75 cm deep grave in Sunderland. Prosecutors claim he was killed by Ben Cook and Louis Hackett, who are standing trial accused of murder. Jurors at Newcastle Crown Court were told the 18-year-old had suffered more than 20 stab wounds in a prolonged and sustained attack. He was last seen on April 18, Easter Monday, the day he was allegedly killed. On May 31 last year, cops discovered a grave dug in a wooded area near a disused industrial estate in Sunderland. Kieran, who lived in supported accommodation, was at the home of his mum, Tracey Williams, on April 18. She went out for food around 5:30 p.m. When she returned later on, he was not there. David Lamb KC, prosecuting, said he had been in touch with the accused before going to meet them. He added, the prosecution case is this pattern of contact leading to Kieran leaving his mum's address and walking to the area where he was killed is indicative that this was a planned attack by these two defendants and they were in it together as part of a joint plan. Mr. Lamb said that after allegedly murdering Kieran, Hackett texted him saying, "You taking the P***, where are you?" Then added, F***, YA, don't speak to me again, . Mr. Lamb said, of course he didn't because Kieran was dead. Cook also messaged Kieran on Facebook asking, "You back yet, mate?" The court heard both of the accused return to the burial site and Hackett went back on May 2, with Cook going back a day later. Mr. Lamb said, on June 2, about 5 weeks after the murder, Kieran's decomposed body was discovered by a police officer and her police dog, buried in a grave in an area of heavy undergrowth in a disused industrial landscape. His body was examined by a pathologist who found he had suffered at least 20 stab wounds, including 3 to the front of his chest, 2 to his right torso, 7 to his neck and a number of other wounds to his limbs. One of the stab wounds had penetrated a membrane surrounding his heart, another penetrated his aorta and 2 entered his liver. He died from blood loss as a result of a prolonged and sustained attack. The court heard an attempt had been made to set Kieran on fire in the grave, but the fire damage was limited to his clothes, not his body. Mr. Lamb said the grave was 75 centimeters deep and it did not resemble a hurriedly dug or poorly constructed grave. He said while it can't be said with certainty the grave was dug before he was killed, there was evidence of pre-planning. Mr. Lamb said, it was in a secluded area and access to vehicles would not have been possible. In short, this was not an easy place to get to. There were numerous spade marks in the sides and base of the grave. It was dug in clay soil and would have taken a considerable effort to dig out. Attempts had been made to cover the grave with leaves, sticks and branches. A shovel, spade and fork were later recovered by police on the bank of the River Ware. When Hackett was interviewed he told police Kieran was like a brother to him, said he would give him the clothes off his back. Hackett called Kieran a class lad that had a good relationship with him and said Kieran and Cook were old friends. Cook and Hackett were later arrested on suspicion of kidnap initially. Hackett denied any involvement, but when a forensic archaeologist found his fingerprint in clay on the grave and within the grave, he changed his story, saying he and Cook had gone to the deposition site and met Kieran. He claimed Cook argued with Kieran and Cook ended up producing a knife and stabbed Kieran numerous times. Hackett said he tried to pull Cook off him but Kieran collapsed. The defendant said Cook asked him to help after it became clear Kieran was dead. Hackett said he was not thinking straight, so he helped Cook bury him. Cook, on the other hand, claimed Hackett had attacked Kieran and stabbed him multiple times. He said Hackett set fire to Kieran's body then covered it with leaves and shrubbery. Cook said he was then told to leave and to ring Kieran later as if nothing was wrong. David Lamb KC, prosecuting, said, "We say each man made his calculation before throwing his co-accused under the bus as a final throw of the dice to get out of their own involvement in a murder which, we say, both men were involved and in respect of which they were in it together."